October 1927, Brussels, a physics conference, and a Catholic priest walked up to Albert Einstein. The priest has done the mathematics and the mathematics says something absurd. The universe is expanding, growing, every second bigger than the second before. Einstein has read his work and says more or less to his face, "Your calculations are correct, but your physics is abominable." The priest was right and Einstein was wrong. Today we call that idea the Big Bang. And the priest, Georges Lemaitre, was Belgian, from a country most of the world cannot place on the map, which is honestly the whole story of Belgium. Let me show you. I'm Stan Lee-Vens. I help men decode the unwritten rules of the world they want to move through. The whole world just spent a month watching Belgium play football. Fine, wonderful even. But by the end of this video, you'll know what Belgium actually gave the world. And I promise you, football is the least of it. There is a photograph you've probably seen. 29 people in 3 rows looking quite sternly at the camera. Einstein sits front and center. Marie Curie is there, the only woman. Niels Bohr, Heisenberg, Schrödinger. 17 of those 29 were or will be Nobel laureates. It is by common agreement the most famous photograph in the history of science. The greatest concentration of human intelligence got in a single frame. Now, where do you think this picture was taken? Cambridge? Princeton? Perhaps Berlin? No, it was in Brussels, in a park. In 1927, the 5th Solvay Conference. And here's the part that always gets me. The man who paid for it, who invented the idea of flying the world's best minds to one table, was Ernest Solvay, a Belgian chemist who made a fortune on industrial soda ash and decided the money should fund physics. So the defining argument on modern science, Einstein and Bohr going at each other on quantum mechanics, was on Belgian soil, on Belgian money. And in the corridors of that same conference stood our priest, Georges Lemaitre, 33 years old, professor at Leuven, collar and all. His paper had come out earlier that year in a Brussels scientific journal, which is partly why nobody had noticed it. The universe, he said, is expanding. You can measure it. 2 years later, Edwin Hubble published the observations, and the observations matched. And for 90 years, the law describing the expanding universe carried Hubble's name. Then, in 2018, the International Astronomical Union voted to change it. It is now the Hubble-Lemaitre law. 91 years. That is how long it took the world to put a Belgian name on it. Right, from the universe to something closer at hand. 1912, Brussels again. The Galerie Royale Saint-Hubert, the world's most elegant shopping arcade. And I won't take questions on it. There's a confectioner shop there run by the Neuhaus family. They started as pharmacists. They coated medicine with chocolate so people would actually take the medicine, which is already a very Belgian solution to a problem. And then in 1912, Jean Neuhaus fills the chocolate with something even better. Cream, ganache. He calls it the praline. So every filled chocolate you have ever eaten, every box handed over at the door, every airport gift, every apology in a ribbon descends from that counter. And to this day, the shop is still there. And then there is fries, frites, also ours, despite what the American name says. I won't reopen that case today, but if you want more info on that, let me know in the comments. And maybe I will make a video just on the Belgian fries. But here's the one that surprises people the most. In 2016, UNESCO put the Belgian beer culture on its list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. There's the same list as flamenco, the same list as Neapolitan pizza making. But not a beer. The culture, the brewing, the glasses, the pairing, the way it sits in ordinary life here. And we have more Trappist breweries than anywhere else in the world, still brewed within the monastery walls. Which brings me to this. Wijnproeven in België. Pierre Wijnands, Comme chez soi, a Belgian institute. If you know Belgian gastronomy, the name needs no introduction. Michelin stars for decades in a dining room in Brussels, the food world quietly revered. I bought this book 25 years ago. I was working as a young maître d'hôtel at the time, a young man learning the table codes from the serving side. Every Christmas when I built the family menu, this book is where I start. 25 years of festive dinners have come out of this book. And that's the thing about Belgian excellence. It doesn't tour the world giving interviews. It stands on a shelf and delivers year after year. By the way, the codes of the table I just mentioned, the 12 rules that I keep coming back to and the history behind each one, I've put them in a free field guide. It's the first link in the description. Right, back to Belgium, because the biggest thing we gave the world is not an object. When the world needs to agree on something, it flies to Belgium. The European Union runs from Brussels. NATO runs from Brussels. 27 countries send their arguments here, and somehow, most of the time, they leave with a deal. People assume that geography, small country in the center of Europe, easy to reach, but that's only part of it. Here is what I would add as someone who grew up inside of it. Belgians are professionally good at compromise. We have to be. This is a country with 3 official languages and 6 governments. 6. And somehow, mostly, it functions. Because along the way, we decided that a deal that everyone can live with beats a victory that half of the room resents. And diplomats actually have a name for it. It's the Belgian compromise. The agreement, so carefully balanced that everyone walks away slightly dissatisfied but completely committed. It's not glamorous. Nobody makes films about it, but it is the reason that the most consequential tables in Europe stand on Belgian soil. If you want to see how those 6 governments actually work together, I have made a video about it, and the card should be here somewhere on the screen. And now, more on dates since we're here. The day is the 21st of July. That's our national day. The day in 1831 that our first king swore an oath on the Constitution. And we celebrated the Belgian way. A beer, a parade, and absolutely no fuss. Here's the thought that I keep coming back to. Belgium never asked for credit. Not for the universe, not for the praline, not for the table where Europe talks. Le Maître waited 91 years for his name on the law, and he never once campaigned for it. He just did the work and let the work speak. And maybe that's the real lesson in all of this. The things that shape a life rarely announce themselves. Influence and volume are 2 different things. The quiet ones usually knew it first. Next month, something I've been looking forward to. I will begin a cocktail series. My personal favorite, the old-fashioned. Not its history, not how the fancy bartenders make them, but how I actually make mine. At home, no bartender skills required. If this was useful, subscribe. I make a new video every month. I'm Lee-Vens, and thank you for being here.